Hey guys, welcome to the Drift Podcast, and today we have got two special guests, and we've got a video feed of them today. So welcome Jmac and Lyncho, Matt Lynch.
Yeah.
So Jmac was on last episode, and we're just doing a bit of a follow-up with him about Driftwest, and we just want to talk actually about Western Australia and the drift scene there, and get a real idea of what it's like over there. It is, what, a 7-hour flight, 6-hour flight, I think, from where we are, so it's hard to get over to that side for us, but luckily we got guys on the ground over there. So J-Mac, you've already had a bit of an introduction last week, so you're probably sweet for that, but Lynch, let's hear it.
My name's Jared. Everyone calls me Jmac. I'm a motorsport commentator over here, and I cover absolutely everything between drifting, motocross, supermoto, drag racing. If it's got a motor and wheels, I'm into it. So it's basically getting in with as many different motorsports as possible has really sort of kept me afloat when it comes to a commentary sort of business thing. And I recently recruited this guy,
Nice.
Matt Lynch, to come on with our most recent couple of rounds here with the Driftwest comp, and he's been absolutely brilliant. I'll get that out of the way straight out of the box. He's done an absolutely awesome job.
Oh, you don't have to talk him up too much, I'm sure. Doesn't need that much of an ego boost. I've seen his Instagram follower amount. All right, Matt, how about you?
Yeah, so my name's Matt Lynch, Lyncho Drift on a lot of the social media platforms. I've been around for about 4 or 5 years, I think. I've been keeping count. I drive a 180SX currently.
No, you don't.
Exactly. Yeah, so currently it's probably exaggeration because it's broken. But literally, it is about to start. We have people working on it right now in the backyard. So it's we're literally minutes away from hearing it fire up for the first time in about like 8 months.
When he says working on, he's the guy who passes the tools while
I
other
bet.
guys work on the car. Okay, so he has a few drift chops. He's competed in both the D1 WA and the Driftwest competitions. So we're looking forward to some big things from this guy.
Nice. So what are the details on that 180SX then?
Oh, look, it's nothing too special. It's I bought it as a street registered SR20. It was full street trim. It had no body kit. It was metal guards, metal fenders. It was like the stock pig nose front bumper. I bought it. The drift mods that it had some cast front knuckles. It had a front mount intercooler. It had a full exhaust, but it was a street exhaust. And beyond that, it was pretty straightforward. As it stands now, it's a what is it? It's got a forged head. It's got BC valve springs. It's got 264 cams, a 2871 turbo, a Nismo 4.3 something, closer to, I think it's 4.37 diff, but it's adjustable, so it means that we can change it between a 2-way and a 1.5. It's currently set at a 1.5-way diff, and every arm is adjustable. So all the adjustable arms are D-speed, and it's been set up pretty well. It's got a flipped intercooler, all the fab work. It's got a removable tube front. Everything's been done by Mert Automotive. Tube bash bar, tube rear bash bar. It's still it might surprise you to know it's got a Z32 airflow meter and a Nistune ECU. So it's pretty basic in that sense. It's running about 300 horsepower on the last engine, and the current engine remains to be seen. So I have a tune, literally it's going on the dyno on Monday, and so it changes since then have been the new head. So it's got a ported head.
Okay.
It's got new springs, and we'll see what it what it turns out then, I'm hoping to keep it around the 300 mark because it's still running an SR box. I don't want to push it much the 300 horsepower mark because I don't want to do the RB conversion or ZB2 conversion on the gearbox.
Yeah.
So keeping it around the 300 mark will just make it a little more reliable. I'm not chasing the high horsepower. I'm chasing reliability. So for the last 12 months, I've been struggling with reliability modifications. So
yeah, like a lot of people do these days.
Definitely
So because everyone ends up chasing power. So.
Yeah,
no, fair enough.
No,
sounds like
a wicked build.
Decent build, you know, like it's all you need for a street car or a basic setup car. So yeah, nice.
Sounds
Should be
cool.
good.
Cool as that going, eh?
Yeah. We had some other questions.
Yeah.
You
So,
locked your phone.
what actually got you into drifting, Matty? Like, you know, was it just your mates, or did you see like videos somewhere, or how'd you get into it?
I can answer that. It was the promise of nailing hot chicks.
And then the promise turned out to be a lie, as it always is.
So somehow managed to get himself in with the current series photographer of.
Do you want to jump in the shot?
This is said hot chick. She's actually you might actually hear a few shutter flashes. Yeah, there we go. Let's get
there we
go. That's Ash from Lady Ash Snap. So please, and this is a shameless plug, jump on, like her on Instagram, like her on Facebook, because she's going to be giving you all of the best Driftwest stuff.
Does she go to other events? Like, do you guys go to like party events?
Question I ask myself a lot when I spend my nights in the shed slaving and it's -5 degrees, but in reality it was I spent a fair bit of time and money and energy trying to build up a street car for drag racing, and it was it was an XR6 Turbo, and I thought, well, these cars are pretty good platforms to build from, and I spent a lot of cash trying to get one of those to run a fairly decent time through the quarter mile. And I did it once, right? So I did like a street run once and realized it was not worth it. It was not worth all the money and effort that I put into making this car go really quick. For what? So I spent a lot of time doing that. And
well, at least you learned a lesson.
Yeah. So what really makes this quite painful is that my background is largely a drag racing background. Now, I cut my teeth commentating drag racing for the last 6 or 7 years. So to hear this guy say, I prefer going around corners, it kind of cuts me really deep.
Like I was putting my head towards a car. Like I was paying someone to build a car that could go fast in a straight line. I wasn't working out how to make a car do better at what it does and what I want it to do.
Yeah.
So, and I always looked at drifting as something that was like the pinnacle of driver ability, and so I thought, well, I want to do that. I want to get a car. I want to build it. I want to progressively change and modify a car that helps me do that thing, which is drifting. And so I eventually decided to buy a VR 5-litre Ute, right? Like
the best drift car ever made, like obviously.
There was some solid logic behind it, because I thought, well, I'll buy a V8 one. I'm not going to have any boost issues.
Yeah.
Boost issues. I'm going to have the torque there. The car that I bought was manual, so that was sorted. It was rear-wheel drive, and it was registered. So I could put all my tools and my tyres in the back of the Ute.
Man, it sounds like the perfect drift car. Like, on paper, like V8, rear-wheel drive, space for your tools and tyres. Sounds awesome. How was that in reality?
Yeah, it didn't work out that well. Two events, and it's kind of bearing, and I had to. Thankfully, it was still registered, and I had the RAC insurance that meant that I was eligible for any car I was driving at the time. So I one of the racetrack and said, "Oh, I've broken down out the front of the motorsport," and I got picked up by RAC and got towed home.
The funny thing is that you say that like it's some sort of isolated incident. Working there on almost every single Wednesday for the last 18 months, 2 years, it happens so much more.
Oh, well, we had Steven on a couple of episodes back who won Drift Masters, and he has the same thing, and he uses it all the time. Like, but he's a mechanic, so he'll send it to his work. Like, if his car if he needs to finish part of his car off at home, like he'll be like, "Oh, the gearbox just died. I need it towed to work from my house," and it gets covered, and he just puts it up on the hoist at work. So, yeah.
Well, there's no excuse if you're a mechanic.
Yeah, that's it. Like, yeah. So, cool.
Anyway, mechanical background, and so I bought this thing thinking, all right, 5-litre manual, rear-wheel drive. We're going to be sweet. I can drive this thing to and from the track. I can chuck all my tools. I can chuck all my tires, everything in the back of the ute, and I can go up and I can drift as much as I want. But it spun a bearing on the second time I ever drifted it, and this is at the point. The way that Driftwest structures their drift packs is that you have to demonstrate your ability to drive around a figure eight, and from a figure eight you progress to like a slalom, and you have to prove that you can drift at speed basically before you're allowed onto the main track, where you're going to be causing a lot of red flags. You're going to be a hazard to other drivers that are on the main. And Barbagallo, if you guys don't know, is an insanely high-speed track. Like, it is really fast. Like, some of the bigger guys are entering 200 k's into the main turn.
Yeah.
And if you have drivers that aren't confident on transitioning the weight of their car into that first corner, it is a serious drag on the way that the night progresses. So it's the ability to be able to filter those drivers as they come through, not just release everyone straight onto the track, straight onto the main track and just let them spin out, just maintains that flow of the main track so much better.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they should definitely actually do something like that up here on a couple of the events, because we have that issue a lot of just beginner drivers coming out and jumping in the deep end with people that are trying to go insanely fast, and it just makes some dangerous situations. That's actually a great idea, actually. So
it's a hazard to the efficiency of the night, and also to the drivers that are more experienced and wanting to get a little bit closer to the drivers on the main track. So it works out really well, and we've got, I think last track we had about 10 new drivers on the. We have this huge infield area at Barbagallo where we can train new drivers, and we can split it up into 2 areas, and it's basically figuring out how to do figure eights and how to do slaloms and how to weight transition, how to carry speed through a corner. So that option makes such a big difference to how well the event flows through the night. It's unreal, and it means that you've got far less red flags. You know, you're pulling people out of corners, you're pulling people out of sand, and it makes a huge difference.
That's really the worst at Queensland Raceway, when you got to wait to get people out of the sand trap and stuff. Like, you can be down for like 15 minutes, you know, of your drifting time throughout the day, just per car that ends up in the kitty litter. And like, at QR, if it rains, like, most of the cars are really high horsepower because it is a fast track. So as soon as it rains, those cars are all in the dirt. So it just ends badly for everyone. But cool. What was our next one for? Oh, YouTube channel. Did you want to say anything about that? Like, is that as big as your Instagram? Like, what came first? Like, I mean, you're not some crazy like making money off Instagram type person, but you got like almost 7,000 followers. Is it? Like, that's a feat, I guess. That's more than my business page has. So like,
do a YouTube share. You need to send some across to me because I only got 1,000. Yeah.
The thing with Instagram is it's super easy to manipulate. And I wrote an article for D1WA, one of the other drift clubs here in Western Australia, about what's important to focus on if you're a drifter, and how to maintain that support for the club. And one of the biggest things is social media, and I think Instagram in itself is super easy to manipulate because you can really target your audience, and if provided you've got decent content, or it's just a matter of making sure that the content you're producing is ending up in front of the people that are going to support you. So that's easy. The Instagram algorithms are a little bit trickier to navigate, and I don't know if it's worth going into detail about that. But the thing about YouTube is YouTube doesn't have the same manipulation options. YouTube is really tricky.
Yeah, it is. It is really tricky to get big on YouTube. That's why, like, all the big guys stay big, but the little guys don't really ever break through. Like, it's really difficult. It's really difficult. Like, the only ones that could really break through these days are the guys with the massive Instagram accounts and stuff like that. It's so easy if you already have a big following. It's so easy to get a bigger following, but starting from nothing, like we're trying even with our Instagram for the Drift podcast, and it's not easy. So you gotta be smart about it, but it's definitely not easy to break through compared to other people.
I also feel like if you were a massive, not a massive social media icon, but if you had a good following over 5 years ago before some of the major major changes happened with especially YouTube, you've managed to maintain that. Like way back in the day when you could buy Facebook likes, you could actually buy YouTube subscriptions and stuff like that. If you've managed to get on way back, I'm talking 5, 6, 7 years ago, you've largely been able to maintain that viewership, maintain that subscriber sort of base, and it's a completely different landscape to try and navigate these days. Social media has so much.
Yeah.
And if I can just share one thing that I've tried recently with Instagram, and this has been to my detriment, and something that I've figured out. So my Instagram following is actually going down, and it's as a result of time. So it's actually as a result of trying posting more frequently, and so it's this whole argument around compromising on.
It's lies. It's because he didn't put a Jay-Z in his car. Right? Yeah, it's because he didn't put an LS in there. Yeah.
But it's actually because I tried posting. I tried this. There was an idea that if you post more frequently and you compromise on quality of your posts, that you get better engagement, you get better reach, and it's not true.
Really?
I tried for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I tried posting about 2 or 3 days, and it completely screwed my algorithm. I don't know what Instagram has done, but my reach has gone down to about my last post was about 400 or 500 of my followers, and like you said, I've got about 7,000 followers on Instagram, but each post is getting progressively less and less as a result of more frequent posting. So,
wow, that's interesting.
Instagram posting routine, it's that to focus on quality over quantity.
But I think at the same time, if you have a massive following already, say you compare a little guy with only 500 followers, and say he posts really quality content, but then you have someone with 1 million followers, they could literally post up just a blank screen, like a blank black photo, and they would get 1 million likes on that photo. Like, so it plays in with that as well. Like, quality content isn't everything. I think so long as you're consistent with your content, then that's what does it. But
that blank post would flow on to impact their future posts is the problem though, and that happened to me.
Okay, that's interesting.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. Well,
we got one more question for you, Matt. Yeah, so do you have any future plans to drive maybe overseas, or
have you previously?
Or have you driven previously overseas or anything like that?
Yeah, so we had a plan to drive over and do the whole Team Orange,
Ebbsfleet trip.
Do that, yeah.
Well, come in November, that's when I'm going, so I'll be back for my 4th time.
And how the schedule worked out was we ended up going to Japan around March, April, and that was right around the D1 GP period. And the Team Orange guys obviously weren't available for that period because they were focusing on more important things like competing in the competition rounds. So they weren't available to train moves like me. So we ended up, and plus, Ebbsfleet's not easy to get to unless you hire a car. So we started up at Sapporo, and
yeah, right.
She our way down to Tokyo, and the original idea was to do a cheeky stop into Ebbsfleet, but it's not that easy in reality once you actually get and figure out the rail network and what happens. But we went straight down to Osaka, and we managed to catch. What was it? I think it was round 2 of actually round 2 and round 3 of D1 GP, and that was amazing to see one of those rounds go down in action. And we managed to catch up with Alexi from Noriaro and said g'day real quick. We managed to catch him. Walked into the urinal and said, mate, I know you go for a piss, but I'm going to catch it real quick so you can, He wasn't too happy about that, and also he was seriously caught off guard because they actually started talking for the commentary, and what part of what Alexi does is translate the D1 GP commentators and translates that for us non-Japanese speakers.
Yeah,
and we started talking, and he still managed to find the time for us to have a chat, say g'day.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah,
he's good.
Yeah, for sure. No, awesome.
So, question, no plans to compete overseas anytime soon.
You should do G1 GP though. If you end up buying a car at Ebbsfleet, definitely do the G1 GP. I've competed in that before. I did really shit because I'd only been drifting for 5 days, like actually for 5 days previous to doing it. But I learnt so much. Like the level of drivers that are in G1 GP is insane. Like even 4 years ago when I did that for the first time, like those drivers are they're winning Formula Drift Japan. Like when they go over there, it was I mentioned him last episode. The guy who won Formula Drift Japan, he's from Sydney, and he was one of the guys who I was versing when I was over there too. So like you are literally driving against the best drivers across the world that aren't Japanese in the G1 GP. It's amazing. Like it's great. Yeah. So. But yes, you're right. It is very difficult to get to Ebbsfleet if you don't have a car. Don't take a taxi up there because they won't wait for you and you can't get back to town. So, and it's a long walk. I've heard of people doing it, and that's a long walk. So, yeah. Righto. Let's talk about Driftwest then. How'd it go? Like, what was your overall thoughts? Who won? And yeah, what happened?
Well, first of all, that's the end of Matt's first live bit. So, goodbye.
Very good. Very good.
Driftwest. First of all, we spoke to you guys last time, and we made some pretty bold statements. We said we were going to achieve some pretty massive goals, and to be honest, we didn't achieve all of them.
Okay.
The biggest thing at the time was, well, on the day, we did not start with the first battles. We were scheduled for, I believe, an 11 o'clock start. Unfortunately, we weren't able to due to inclement weather, setting up, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And it's to sort of make excuses, but that's one thing that we didn't achieve. We did not achieve a punctual start time.
Okay.
Second thing we didn't quite achieve, and I'm going to list them off all from the get-go, we did not get anywhere near as much in-car stuff as we wanted to. We had, I think, about 10 different occasions where we switched to in-car cameras, and when we switched to those cameras, it worked, and it was great. but it was a logistical thing trying to get stuff from the pits back out to the marshalling area where cars were stationed to try and get those cameras swapped into and out of those cars that sort of tripped us up.
Yeah. How many of those in-car cameras did you actually have?
Sorry?
How many in-car cameras did you have? Just one?
At the time, I think it was 4 in-car camera units.
Okay.
So, the intention was to try and show up with at least 8. We had trouble getting those started, so it was a logistical thing trying to get those cars out of the cameras into the next car and back out on track.
Yeah.
But that's something that we learned from and that we will change in the future.
Yeah. Can I say one thing about those in-car ones? I do have just the... I was going to bring it up when we bring up like what we think could do better or what you think you nailed, but I'll just say it now since we're on the topic of it. I think the view should be changed of the in-car ones. So they were facing from the passenger seat facing up at the driver on all of them. Was that right? I think if we put it... I think if we put it like behind the driver's head, like up off the roll cage, like here, then a driver can show. What's that?
Put it on the crossover, looking back towards the driver and towards
and looking out in front. So then you can see, because you couldn't see where the driver was on track when you did switch to the in-car ones. As well as that, it also still shows their hand position and everything like that. So you still get to see what the driver's doing. But the driver, if they're sponsored, they can put their sponsors on the dashboard. And then that's all shown too for them, which is win-win for them as well. And if I was to do it, I would have like a similar setup like what we have in this stream, where we have the chase drive. Like, obviously, you have to have a heap of cameras, but like you'd pretty much have to have a camera in every car. But the chase driver has a feed showing all the time in the corner, and then that way, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so then you've got the outside view of a of the what's going on, but always in the corner you have the in-car view of the chase driver. I think that would be so amazing to see what's going on every lap inside the cars. Like, yeah, but that's a lot of money on cameras. So,
in all honesty, and this is going to surprise you, it's actually not. The in-car setups are actually quite cheap. So in this instance, it's a logistical feat to make sure we've got A, enough cameras, and B, that we have the manpower to run those cameras. Because if you imagine, it's just like setting a GoPro up. We Velcro these cameras into each car, and we only have a finite number of cameras. So let's say we've got a field of 26 like we had on the weekend. We might only run maybe 8 cameras. Yeah. So that's something that you need to consider. But look, to sort of continue in the vein of stuff that we didn't quite hit the nail on the head, sponsorship was a little bit lax. We did last time we came on the show with you guys, we mentioned that we had a telecommunications sponsor sniffing around. Unfortunately, they didn't take the bait. But we were able to nab a few other sponsors that were able to buy some replay monetization slots and some other bits and pieces.
Yeah, I saw it on that in-car one that was sponsored and everything too. So, yeah, no, that's that's okay though. Like, you got to start somewhere. So I think props for that.
And that I think is the overall theme. While we might not have hit the mark with these points that I've already mentioned, we still managed to put together a product that was of a relatively high quality. And the last, before I finish, is that we had a broken stream. We had about 5. We had about 5 or 6 different clips that were sort of put up throughout the day. Now, the production company, Front Row Screens, did a fantastic job in all other sections, but by the looks of things, some denial of service hackers managed to actually hijack the open ports that the in-car camera was utilizing. So whether it was some sort of bot that was operating that found these open network ports that decided to load them up with data, all of a sudden we uphold a 400 megabyte stream, which just on these in-car camera network ports just was not going to stay alive. So we had some denial of service stuff. In the future, that will not happen. We will make sure that does not happen. And I think in actual fact, that was the worst thing about the stream that we tried to put up, is that it just got interrupted so much.
Yeah.
So you guys are talking about statistics and metrics of what we were able to achieve.
Yep.
In terms of the live stream. I have been told that it's a safe bet that we broadcast to over 20,000 viewers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's brilliant.
From what we call a position 0 on the board, this is starting from go on the Monopoly board, to net 20,000 viewers on our very first time, and to put out a product that was as good as what we did put out, I think is a fantastic achievement. And the Driftwest crew and the Front Row Screens crew, as well as all of our sponsors and supporters, really do need to be thanked and supported for that. Because I'm going to say it, we did a killer job.
Yeah,
no, definitely.
Well, I think now it's time. We've talked about the negatives. I think I want to talk about the good things that I saw from it. Number one, I loved the non-stop drifting.
100%.
That was awesome. That was done really well. And that's how an event should be. I think so many others around the world should really take something from that. For that and apply that. Like, if Formula Drift had that, I'd watch it, you know? Another drink. Man, I don't even want to count how many you guys are in. You're going to be slurring by the end of this. But yeah, no, I think that was nailed.
Proud of the way that not only the drivers, and I really do think we need to thank the drivers for that, because these guys made their marshalling calls. These guys showed up when it was crunch time. There were next to no stoppages that could not be avoided. I mean, we had the occasional recovery.
Yeah.
I was literally struggling to squeeze in
interviews, right? I know. I saw that. Yeah. Like,
that happened.
Yeah.
Drift event where you've got 20-something drivers.
26 drivers.
Yeah.
Back to back, right? Your drift event is running that efficiently that you can't even squeeze in. I was being for a 10-second interview in the pits.
Yeah.
I was getting lined on fingers. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on, get over done with.
This is the thing, is that Matt has never, ever done live broadcast before. He's not even really done anything in terms of any sort of broadcast. So we sort of put him, we tasked him with a very difficult job of trying to get pit lane interviews, driver interviews, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when we're in these high-intensity battles, 26 drivers, 104 battles, he seriously had almost no time to actually corner a driver and get any sort of information. And we definitely found, and I'm going to throw you under the bus here, we definitely found that as the day went on, as the stream went on, his material got a hell of a lot better. And that's one of the things where I do really sort of have to say that he stepped up to the plate. Like I say, I've been in this game for the better part of 10 years, and that first gig doing what he was doing was nowhere near as good as how he handled himself. So I got to say, I am very, very proud.
Boy.
Well, I mean, we were even. It was a struggle to get Ben on camera last episode because he was freaking out. So I know the feeling.
Yeah, but that's because of Ben's receding hairline.
That's me. No, that's me. No, he's just the redhead. So yeah. Oh jeez, yeah. We're all getting old. I turned 28 on the 22nd. So that's terrible.
Yeah, you're old now.
Yeah, but some other good things. I gotta commend you guys on the recovery time. That was awesome. How quickly the ambos were out when that guy hit the wall. That looked like a pretty decent hit. It was a 180SX. I'm pretty sure hit the wall.
That was Dylan Tilbury, and he's a serious character among the drift community. Talk to us a little bit more about that.
Dill, he's he's probably one of the guys that's been struggling budget-wise for the longest time. I don't know what he does for a job. I don't know what his budget situation is, but the guy shows up more frequently than he probably should. Over the last, what is it? It's probably this series. It's this series that's made him actually look at his car and go, I probably need to sharpen up my game a little bit. And I don't know if it was because there was I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there was a Milwaukee.
There was a Milwaukee Impact driver that was offered for the most improved driver in terms of presentation, because what Driftwest have been trying to do is really cultivate a sense of pride in the entrance about how their vehicles present.
Yeah, that was a big thing for Drift Masters as well over here.
That's right. So we incentivise the drivers in that sense, and over the course of the entire series, we have sort of dangled the carrot as such in front of them and said, look, if you really show the effort, we will reward you. And Dylan Tilbury, in the beginning, actually showed up in a car. There was actually about 4 or 5 different colours. So
I think I remember you guys saying that on the stream, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But what has happened is over time, over the 4 rounds, he has worked at it, he's done some panel and paint work out, and it is now the most improved car. And what was really unfortunate is that I think it was during a chase run, he was following one of our more experienced drivers, and he managed to clip the inner ripple strip.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, he clipped that in a ripple strip, and it like flipped his car up just a bit in the air, and it just unsettled the car. And like he found the only wall at the track. He found it.
It's the only major wall contact sort of guy that really sort of it put a bit of a downer on the day. But I mean, the dude was going hard. He was chasing hard. He did absolutely everything that he should have been doing in the situation, and we have to commend him for it, I think. And ultimately, in the end, he scored himself a Milwaukee Impact driver, so he's going to be getting those wheels off in super quick time now compared to when he was running the old.
It won't be long until we're back up and running, and look, you can guarantee for the next year of Outlaw. And to be honest, Dill was one of the guys that trained me when I first started back in 2000 and I can't remember 2000 and something. I can't remember what it was. But Dill was there. He's been around for a long time, so you can guarantee that he's got people. He knows the guys. He knows everyone that will get his car back up, and he'll be fine. He's got that that Milwaukee wrench, painting tires like it's nothing. We won't even have to talk him after he's rattle gunned them.
So, what's the plans for Driftwest and in the future and with this live stream? Because I know that you guys mentioned that that this was kind of, if it didn't work out, it was going to be like the beginning of the end or the end. What's the future for drifting in Western Australia, especially as far as competition go, or are you guys going to be able to get out on Barbagallo Raceway for party drifting now? Is that kind of on the cards after this? Has anything changed, or for the better or for the worst?
It's very early days to try and judge the results from the last Driftwest event.
Yeah,
thank you. So we had a fantastically successful round 4. What this does is I think it reinforces a very strong drift culture here in WA, here in Perth. We have 2 very strong clubs, and I am going to be bluntly honest. I do have a foot in both camps. That's me personally, and I know Lyncho does as well.
That's not a bad thing. Just more drifting.
No, absolutely not. Look, we are not pro club. We are pro drifting. Yeah. If you do want to try and put some sort of spin on it.
How's that?
Yeah, pro man. Is that a good position to say drifting?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
In all honesty, regardless of where it happens, how it happens, and under what governing body or insurance company it happens, we are pro drifting.
Yeah.
So
But at the same time, you're not a crazy pro drifting where you rule out the basic drivers. It's almost like a pro-am. You could say it's a pro-am drifting.
Look, we might make the contrast about Driftwest versus D1 WA. Those are the two drifting clubs that are here in Perth at the moment. So D1 WA has done an absolutely brilliant job of welcoming the newcomer to the sport. They've done an incredible job of bringing the Give It A Go guys out to the infield of Barbagallo Raceway to basically get their drifting pleasure. They set up a couple of layouts, and at the end of the night, they might do a Mocha Bisu sort of setup with cones and water barriers.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What track do you know?
It's essentially it's car park drifting with water barriers and whatnot. So that's a great start if you want to take your street car drifting, or if you've got a brand new build and you don't necessarily want to chuck it into a wall at turn 3 or 4. So D1 WA fills the gap that Driftwest might necessarily leave.
Yeah.
Driftwest an absolutely brilliant job because they offer main track drifting at Barbagallo Raceway. There's no other opportunities for main track drifting unless you're running with Driftwest, and they do fairly regular days, stuff like that. So, in all honesty, I think that the D1 WA and Driftwest deal, it's a symbiosis. And ultimately, these guys really do need to feed off each other and work together. And I think that's something that really needs to be reinforced, is that these clubs, they work together to cultivate a healthy drifting culture here in WA.
It's not club versus club, and I think that's a conception that's been created amongst drifting in Western Australia. I mean, each club supports drifting in a different aspect. I mean, we've got D1 WA supporting
the Matsuri.
Exactly, right? So Matsuri is one of the most unique events Australia has seen, and it attracts so many drivers, and it is
so many different cars, so many drivers. You heard it here first.
Right? You can see, I don't know if there's been a live stream from Matsuri before, but there is something about Matsuri and Collie Motorplex that attracts everything that is drifting, right? So you've got everyone from your twin turbo forged LS to your KA / stock SR20DE showing up at Matsuri and Collie Motorplex. So that event in itself is what promotes true drifting, and it is one of the greatest things. I hope that's something that we can sustain into the future. And I genuinely have a concern that is something that's fading as we see a progression towards. We see the social media momentum towards I'm making heaps of smoke. I'm making
but it's a just because people want to do it doesn't mean they can afford to do it. So there's always going to be the want, but I think anyone who does that is probably, like, say they go and build that twin turbo LS and try and make 1,000 horsepower and stuff, they're gonna very quickly realize that unless, I mean, hey, you guys are on Western Australian mining budgets, so you guys can afford it, but it's not sustainable unless you got a whole heap of sponsors anyway. So I don't know. I think it's not really going to weed out the people with 300 horsepower or less, because there's always still going to be people that have that. Yeah, exactly. You are
that's like goodbye.
Well, hey, I'm done.
But yeah, okay.
I reckon Matsuri will always be around, because there's always people like, I don't know, I guess us, that drive either Corollas or just stock cars with coilovers in it, and it's like the most track time you can have at any sort of event. You get to drive with all your friends, and there's no pressure. So
yeah.
I feel like it might get small at one point, but it'll always get bigger again.
Yeah.
Is drift in WA, and look, to be honest, I think Matsuri and the Collie event that D1 WA runs is the epitome of drift in Western Australia. As much as it it might not draw a heap of revenue, but I think that as far as the drift culture in Western Australia goes, the Collie Matsuri that D1WA runs is the epitome of drift. That it attracts everyone that is truly invested in drifting in Western Australia, and it gets everyone to camp, it gets everyone at the track, it gets everyone to get door on door, which is something that Barbagallo doesn't do, because Barbagallo is really fast. Barbagallo, if you want to get door on door at Barbagallo, you need to be doing at least 100 k's an hour.
Oh, come on, man, that's not that fast. Come on. Come on, man, get with the program. 100k an hour.
I really do feel that we kind of need to not stand up for the Driftwest situation at the moment, but I do feel that as much as the Matsuri style stuff, the party drift deal, as you guys have termed it before, is super, super important, because it's a way of life. It's a culture aspect when it comes to
definitely
drifting.
Yeah,
It is really massive. I think that Driftwest have really managed to corner the market when it comes to promoting that professional drifting aspect.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing is, especially over here, is that the professional drifting is dying, you know? So it's not that, like, I love party drifting. I'm not a competition person. I don't, I enjoyed going in the G1 in Japan, but I know I don't have the budget to go and do a level of competition drifting that I could succeed at. So I don't see the value in it for me, but there are heaps of people that definitely see the value in doing a competition style drifting, and there needs to be stuff for them to be able to do it, and that's why we need Driftwest and Drift Masters and stuff like that. And it's sad that ADGP is gone, because, you know, you got people like Bo Yates and Drift Squid and stuff like that. Those guys are awesome, but they have nothing to drift in now, so they need that.
We had a little bit of an ADGP throwback. We actually had Brent Wilkinson, ADGP owner, running the commentary with me here in the OB bus, which was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, cool.
Like, Wilco is just such a solid contender when it comes to commentary, when it comes to drift. It was so much fun for me to work alongside with him.
Yeah, cool. No, that's good. They need something. Like, those guys have spent a lot of money building those cars. They deserve to, and they've worked damn hard for it to get the sponsors that they've got. They deserve to have somewhere to drive those cars to their full potential, and that's why we need the competition drifting. It might not be for everyone, you know. Just because I don't want to do it doesn't mean I don't think it shouldn't exist. Yeah. So, and you guys would feel the same about party drifting. We just need more. So one question I do have then is, whether it be competition or party drifting, is there any other tracks in Western Australia? Because this is a Western Australia episode. It's not just Driftwest, so or D1WA. So is there other tracks in WA, or is that?
So at this point in time, we have Barbagallo Raceway, which caters for our two drift clubs. We have D1WA. They quite happily operate infield drifting, which is what you guys might term car park drifting.
Yep.
Set up water barriers, and they run some incredible comps. They run some incredible events with what they're given. Then we also have the Driftwest series, where these guys, they run multiple layouts on Barbagallo Raceway. So that's obviously the outside of what D1WA run.
Yeah.
They have, I think, how many layouts have they run? They've run about 4 different layouts that I know of.
For 4 rounds.
Yeah, about four different layouts on that Barbagallo Raceway track.
Okay.
The second motorsport venue that we do operate at is the Collie Motorsport Park. Now, that is the venue for the D1WA Matsuris. And
you guys should come here for that.
Yeah, seriously.
You guys should come over and you should give some coverage of the Matsuri.
Yeah, yeah. My sister actually lives in WA, so
What's her name?
No, she's up in port somewhere. She's like I think she said it's still like $800 or something to fly to Perth. She's in like a mining town just up well north of Perth, but yeah.
Colling Motorsport Park is actually located about, an hour and a half south of Perth, and it is an absolutely brilliant circuit racing venue that has treated the drifting community relatively well over the last few years. They've held, D1WA have held their Matsuris there quite a few times in the past, and they've had absolutely brilliant success. They've attracted a lot of newcomers because it's a tad more relaxed than what we sort of see at Barbagallo Raceway. The Collie Motorplex has recently had some new ownership, and they've done a new extension on the track, which, as far as I'm aware, we're not necessarily allowed to drift. But that's a current situation that may well change in the future.
TBA, hey?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. It's something that we will take under advisement, and we will talk and work with them. And a lot of that it relies on people showing up for the busy bees, cleaning up the track, doing what they can to
being adults.
Yeah, really. Absolutely.
You need Japanese to come over. You saw them in the FIFA World Cup. They were cleaning up everything. Just get a whole heap of Japanese to come over. They'll be...
The Japanese, who else was doing it?
I think people were just copying the Japanese in FIFA. But one thing when we're talking about layouts, though, the Driftwest layout. Man, you guys need to get a cone out there on that hairpin. God damn, no one knew where they were by the time they got down there.
Is that your assessment? Is that we should have had an inner?
Yeah, something in there to let those guys know where they were, because everyone was just getting messed up on the chase side thing.
On entry, you'd see everyone come in, and like some people would be like coming in way too shallow, and the lead driver would go all the way wide.
Yeah,
I was like, but yeah.
Brett Wilkinson from Wilkinson Suspension and we were finding that as we were commentating those runs, so many people were getting so short of that, outer clip on that hairpin.
Yeah.
And it was super, super tough because obviously we had changing conditions, we had guys with different power cars, but ultimately it was a dead set. It was a tough layout.
That was hard, man. Like, I looked at that and I'm like, whoa, these guys have got to be really focused just to know where they are. So, yeah. If you run that layout again, I'd definitely look at some way to be able to show those guys where they are, because you think about when you're coming in that quick, like on that transition to judge like where you are coming down, like it can be difficult to judge like where to transition and stuff like that. But about layouts, that was probably the only thing I noticed about that. But yeah.
So what I want to ask you guys is that, righto, I understand you may not have been able to watch the entire 6 or 7 hours worth of
it was my birthday, so...
there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
But, drifting.
What we want to ask you guys is, we have spoken about some of the shortcomings in terms of the internal cameras for the cars. This is still a new situation for Driftwest and for the WA scene. What we want to know is, what did you guys see on the live stream that could be improved? What sort of stuff can we do better next time that's going to make us more applicable to a national audience, that's going to make everyone out there more interested in watching our deal?
Well, I definitely think those in-car cameras on the chase cars, and definitely changing it to show out the front. And, if you got a camera in the car, and especially if they're in chase position, but any position, it should be up in that corner. Like, seeing an in-car part of it with no audio, just in case they're getting angry at someone else, which happened in FD and they got in a lot of shit. But no audio from the in-car, like for that. But just having a continuous live stream of what the guys are doing in there. I'm sure there's, like, I always love when I was watching the V8 Supercars, they'd show the in-cars, you know, a lot. So I think a lot of people want to see that in-car footage, and it's something that even in Formula Drift they wanted to do with their stuff, but it was way too difficult for them to do it. But you guys had the setup there. I just think the cameras were pointed the wrong direction, and there wasn't enough of it. So the layout, and definitely just to make that more good.
Really quick. That's super fair criticism that we need to pass on, and we will pass on to production company. They deliver so much, but there's still stuff that we can totally.
Oh, there's always stuff that you can do to make better. You know, you can, no matter how good your stream is, you can always make it better. So, and yeah, that layout, just making it a little bit easier for people to see that layout.
Yeah, just like making it a little bit more clear, because you see a lot of cars coming in from tandem and they're just not knowing exactly where they're coming from. Because I'm guessing, like, when you're chasing, you've got the other car in front of you and you're not able to see your entry point.
Layout or not?
So, but yeah.
All right, look, the layout for the most recent round was a bone of contention among drivers and the production company alike. Unfortunately, it was not released until the day of the competition. And you will note that I'm choosing my words very, very carefully.
Yeah.
There was an application from Driftwest to apply extra bitumen to the track boundaries that allowed them to run extra layouts, more variety in terms
which you want.
Unfortunately, the approval for that bitumenisation did not come as quickly as the club was hoping, and it meant that we were not able to release a layout as quickly as possible. Now, if we had been able to release that layout 2 weeks before, a week before the event, we would have been able to add stuff in like a digital, like an IDC style digital layout graphic. Like you see those guys, they run. It's almost like they're playing Forza Motorsport. They run that car around.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yep,
absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, we weren't able to capitalize on stuff like that because we had, believe it or not, an administrative issue.
Yeah,
and it was little tiny crap like that stopped us from sort of publicising and capitalising on having a layout. So that's something we're looking to improve on in the future for sure. Like, because you look at industry standard these days, you look at FD and you look at IDC, they've got such slick graphics and stuff like that, and it's achievable. It is doable. We can do that with the logistical power that we've got these days. It's just a thing of making it work, and that is what we need to work on.
My only other thought on that layout as well, because it was so tight where it came into that hairpin, if a chase driver was too far behind, I just worry about an accident happening. Did it happen? No.
You know what? If you're too far behind, you are not in the running.
No, but I mean just an accident happening if like another car comes around at the wrong time. I don't know. It looked really tight on the live stream. I don't know whether it was in real life, but that's my only worry with any layout that has a hairpin in it. You know, but if nothing happened and you guys had the safety in place, then
the upshot of that is that we did not necessarily have a safety issue on the day. And something that we count our lucky stars for, because there were a couple of situations where it could have become an issue, and luckily drivers had the presence of mind to get out of it, get right over to the right hand side of the track and stay out of the way.
It was just something, I guess, that I as I saw it, I was like, this is something that could happen, you know? So just something to keep in mind, you know, for next time. But But as long as nothing did happen, that's all that matters. But it's just something to keep in mind, I guess, whenever you're doing a hairpin type layout. But yeah.
So there was an outer clip for that hairpin.
Yep.
And I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
And it was strange. Like we moved the clip point preceding that hairpin. We actually moved that a hell of a lot closer towards the outer clip of that hairpin to try and encourage drivers to keep their movements. Thanks, mate. To keep their movement a lot later.
Yep.
In that, I know it's kind of tough to sort of rationalise that, but we modified the layout to try and keep those guys as far out as possible. But look, there's honestly some stuff out there that only the best drivers are going to be able to drift, and they're only going to drift it well when they're thrown up against a good lead run. And that was one thing really glad our judges stuck to, is that they really watched those lead runs and judged them.
It's probably something you guys didn't say, and something that I haven't drifted myself, but there was definitely a change in surface. And I mean, it was probably
What?
You guys. Yeah. So there was a pretty obvious change in surface between over the layout, where there was, and I don't know if this was obvious through the live stream, but the transition between coming out of the bottom of the hairpin and transitioning to the backup hill. That was the point. That point of the transition was the point of what is it? It's the point of the power skid, right, start line.
Yeah.
So the section where literally the point of the transition is where all the rubber has been laid.
Right. Yeah, we have a similar thing at Queensland Raceway at the short track where there's a skid pad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I did have one more thing, but I can't even remember. Anyway, I'll think about it. Go on the next thing.
Yeah. So we're up here. We don't really know much about the drifting that happens in WA. So is there you want to give us a quick rundown, I guess, on the history of WA drifting, like a bit of streeto, like grassroots
Come on, man,
stuff,
we're about the street.
Pro drifting, I guess, notable drivers or anything like that?
So the best way to describe it would be to work backwards from where we're at now.
All right.
At this point in time, we've got two drift clubs. We've got D1 WA and we have Driftwest. And D1 WA is largely focusing on infield drifting at our main motorsport circuit, which is Barbagallo Raceway, north of Perth, which is, how far from the city would it be? An hour.
Okay.
Yeah, an hour north of Perth. Barbagallo Raceway has been home to V8 supercars, road racing in terms of...
Yeah, it looks like a pretty fast track for that, so,
Yeah. We also have had a lot of drifting at Collie Motorplex, which is, an hour and a half away from Perth. So we've got a couple of venues on offer. Aside from that, we honestly do not have a lot of opportunity for drifting here in WA. So you either had to fit into the Driftwest or the D1 WA sort of camp as such.
As far as getting supported, though, like if you're a new driver and you want to, you've got a JDM car or a ADM car and you want to get started in drifting, you can contact both the Driftwest community. There's it's the driftwest.com.au, and if you want to get started with D1 WA, you can get started on the we've got a Give It A Go Day on the infield at Barbagallo with Give It A Go Day, and you can check that out at d1wa.com.au. So there'll be trainers available. There'll be everyone there to support you through the process of learning how to drift beyond everything, that'll get you off the streets and making sure that, learning on the streets is not the only option.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it an option in WA?
Like, yeah.
Is street drifting even an option in WA? Like, do you guys have hills and stuff like that? Like, is there an underground scene at all over there?
There's actually, I'm not going to mention any.
No, we don't want you to mention any names. You don't have to mention like specific places, but I'm just like interested to know.
Situation. We have a Targa rally deal that comes down once a year, and I believe this year they're actually offering Malaga Drift. So we may, hopefully, fingers crossed. Cross your fingers. Cross fingers. We may actually see some drifting in the industrial areas of the suburbs. So, like I say, fingers crossed, we might see some with the Targa West deal. But look, at this point in time, no, there is not an awful lot of drifting available on the streets. And if you are drifting on the streets, you will get busted.
Yeah. So it's as bad as it is on the East Coast?
Yeah.
And it's just an unfortunate fact of life. I mean, unless you're Daniel Sebs, one of our recent guys
did you go
at the live stream, who says, what was the question?
How do you get good at drifting in 3 months?
His answer was lots of street practice. And as a corporation, as Driftwest, we cannot condone.
No. Well, okay. Well, let's talk about maybe not street drifting now then, but what about 10 years ago when street drifting wasn't as known about to be frowned upon? Like, it couldn't even be frowned on because it wasn't even known about. Like, I know there was a lot over in Queensland. Was there? Right. Is there a history of street drifting?
Way back in the day, if you were a member of the anti-lag forum online.
Yeah. That's big over there.
Here in Perth. And I will be honest, it has completely changed these days. So look, once upon a time, if you were a street drifter, you have been left behind. Look, in all honesty, we do have to encourage that D1WA and Driftwest, they are the places you need to go if you want to try and get on drifting skills. Honestly, there's so many opportunities, and
that's it. You know, like but it's also all about being smart about it too. Don't drift industrial estates. Don't drift past people's houses. That's just stupid. Yeah. But But I mean, keep it straight. Keep it straight.
Don't
have streetcars. Do cool things.
Come on. When you're gonna drift in a controlled environment, don't be a dickhead.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like if you want to drift and you want to learn how to smash your rims against a curb in an industrial area, great.
Just come out tonight where Matt Lynch will be doing a shed skid.
Yeah.
180, it's going to be absolutely killer. I encourage you to come by.
So then, what is there any older tracks that maybe you've gotten shut down other than the Barbagallo and the Collie track? Is there any other tracks like in New South Wales we used to have like Oran Park and stuff like that, and they all got shut down? Is there any ones from the history books that we're drifting at and now aren't?
Unfortunately, WA is very closed-minded when it comes to sports like drifting. No matter how incredible they might be in terms of sponsorship, we have not managed to get a big following. So Collie and the Barbagallo Raceway have been our only track. We currently have a new track that is in the works, currently waiting for government approval, and if that is the case, we will take our number of tracks to 3 instead of 2. Right. Again, we're hoping, we're wishing, we are absolutely praying for the government to see sense and give us a venue that we can take hooning off the streets. And
well, that's the thing. If you don't have enough venues, it will go back on the streets. So that's a big thing. So
I know 95% of the guys in the drift community and the drift culture, if they get their venue taken away from them, it is not going to go well for the road system.
Yeah.
It's not going to well. Just simple fact. It's not going to work.
Okay. There's no like go-kart tracks or anything that are open for drifting or have been or are in the works or anything. We have a few over this way that are like a go-kart track and a drift track, or previously a go-kart track and now a drift track. Is there any like smaller stuff? Because Barbagale is pretty fast. Is Collie fast then, or is it more of a go-kart track or?
Collie is a quick track. Collie is a track that the motorcycles quite regularly race at, and they will often hit 200 kilometers an hour.
Okay, so it's a quick track. So what about go-kart size tracks? Is there anything then?
In terms of smaller, lower speed tracks, there's nothing.
Wow, that sucks.
There's a variety of go-kart tracks, and I'm moving with them because I do a lot of commentary with Supermoto, and they race on go-kart tracks almost explicitly. And they reach 80 k's an hour. We're talking dirt bikes. There is no way that those tracks would allow four-wheel vehicles onto them purely because of degradation.
Of the edges and stuff like that. Yeah. Damn.
There's honestly nothing else here in WA, which truly sucks. I mean, we have come up with a few Mexico-style tracks, and they are completely secret. There is nobody who knows where they are.
Yeah.
And honestly, we'll be keeping those close to our chests.
Yeah, look, if you guys want to get some exclusive live stream access that doesn't disclose the specific location,
we'll have to start geotagging off on all our phones and everything. That's cool. Other questions? Oh, drivers. Is there any notable teams? You know, like you think about it over in America, you got like Villains DC, and over here we've got Gravy Garage and a few other like Hit and Run DC.
Yeah.
Is there any big guys that are over? Any teams that are over in WA that are notable?
Real quick, I just want to plug the guys that have supported me getting to the point where I've got a broken car that's about to get started. Like literally within 15 minutes, it's about to get started. It's funny. Decal. Guys, I'd be surprised, honestly, if you guys haven't heard of Drift Funny.
Yeah, I have actually. I have. The name does ring a bell, so...
Right? So
I don't know what Jmac's doing, but...
Look, okay. Shut up. Mae West is the lady behind Drift Bunny Decals. She's gone to World Time Attack a couple of times, and in all honesty, the quality of artwork that she has managed to produce is absolutely brilliant. The quality of stickers and everything else is killer, and I have to say, unashamedly, I am a Mae West Drift Bunny Decals fan.
Plug. This is a Drift podcast, and we're sponsored by everyone that Jmac names. That's cool. Any other notable teams then that you guys can think of? Any that might have a big following overseas?
Give me 2 seconds. I just want to...
Taylor Swift, I'm going to let you finish.
I want to plug my boy Carlos from Unlimited Graphics. Look, it's not easy to get this. Like as I mentioned earlier, it's pretty easy to manipulate Instagram, and it's only easy if you've got support behind you. If you've got the support for competitions and you've got the support for whatever else, then Instagram is your baby. And my boy Carlos from Unlimited Graphics with an X, GRAPHIX, got it.
So you guys should have thought about this. You should have had a whiteboard that you could just write all of your sponsors up on. Yeah. And you could just point to them with a stick and or a laser light.
Instagram reach has been hugely incredible to Carlos from Unlimited Graphics, and I'd be remiss to not mention Custom Tires. They've been there from the beginning. They've been there to support me from the day that I had my 200 horsepower, and
So you wouldn't have been going through many tyres back then, so they probably weren't too worried. So.
They've done me a solid, but the most supportive person that I can, and I cannot emphasize this enough, is my girlfriend, who is.
I thought you were going to say Jmac then.
No. Right, so my girlfriend, Ash Cook, aka Lady Ash Snaps, has been my biggest supporter and biggest supporter of Driftwest. So every single photo that you guys have seen from the Driftwest round 1, round 2, round 3, and round 4 has been from my girlfriend, Ash Cook. So she has supported the series for free.
Well, that's good. At least she's doing it for free. That's cool too, you know. So, yeah, got to get that coverage. So, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Now, I bet you she's supplied the camera and stuff for this this little interview and everything as well. So, and all the gear. I bet you she did a lot of the setting up. So, probably need her over here so we wouldn't have so many dramas trying to get all this to work. I'm just waiting for my camera battery to die any minute. Like it did last episode. But no, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Is there anything else you wanted to say about...
Sorry, before we cut off, I just want to thank you guys as well, because I think you guys are doing something that is detrimental to the drift community in Australia.
Yeah.
I think that what you guys are doing is lacking in the drift community in the continent, right?
I would nearly say worldwide. Like you got the guys in America that are pretty much mainly focusing on America. But we don't want to do just Australia. Like we love the drifting here, you know, and we really want to get it known to the world. But there's so many other little countries that have amazing drift events too that I probably don't even know about yet. You know, like the stuff in Russia, the stuff in the Philippines, you know, in all through Europe, like. It needs a platform and a way to get it out to people. So thanks for that, man. Yeah. We're trying, and you know we're happy to support you guys over there, especially with doing like a live stream stuff to get it out.
Good work, and don't stop it.
We'll try. No, thanks for that. Awesome. Is there anything else you want to say about WA drifting, or anything notable? Like any events coming up? Like what do we got to look forward to that we're going to be seeing in the future?
So, look, I really do apologise because I'm trying to do the Facebook shuffle as we speak.
After I don't know how many shots. At least it's a Friday.
We have a huge event scheduled for November. So please keep your eyes on Driftwest.
I'll be in Japan, but yep.
A 2-day battle extravaganza, and the whole goal is to try and get a whole bunch of Eastern States drifters across. So please jump on to Driftwest. You will see us on. It is super, super easy. And like I say, just going back across the supporters of the Driftwest series, I've got to say, purely without any sort of commercial advantage to be had here, I'm going to say a massive, massive thank you to what was my co-commentator in the last 2 events, Matt Lynch. He's done an absolutely brilliant job. Yeah. And I honestly think that this is something that hopefully we can cultivate. Get the fuck off me. Hopefully this is something we can cultivate. I know he's not necessarily got an intention to continue with commentary, but I do honestly think that he's done a fantastic job with our live stream. Brett Wilkinson did an absolutely brilliant job with what we did. And again, I think that he should be commended for what he has achieved.
Yeah,
100%, man. 100%.
Yeah, it was definitely worth watching, and definitely.
100%. Check out his YouTube channel too, because that's been really interesting as well.
Yeah, and one last point on the live stream that you guys did. Did you guys do that with phones? I saw in a photo that it was they were holding like a thing like this, and it had the phone in the center, and that looked like how you're doing the live stream. Is that actually how it was, or? No, what did I see in that photo? It was of Maddie in front of doing the
As far as I was aware, our wireless camera guy, which is this guy right here, was being on a mirrorless camera, which was.
I want to find that photo though, because I swear there was like an iPhone in a gimbal.
But honestly, from where we were standing, I understand, and we're going to be brutally honest, we did not achieve all the markers that we were hoping to achieve. So
no, I was just interested to see like the equipment that was used. I wasn't like having a dig. Like I was just actually seeing the equipment.
Definitely hit the point with the live stream. You don't need to be so negative about it. It
no,
was super enjoyable.
I think you guys are actually talking it down too much.
Definitely talking it down way too much. Because that's the thing is we can't watch drifting that often, and when we get a chance to, and we can go back and rewatch the live replays and just see action the whole time. It's exactly what everyone wants to see. I think
Yeah.
So
you guys might say that, but next time we are going to be 100% better. And that is something that you guys can take to the bank. We will be 10 times better.
Yeah, and that sounds good. I mean,
10 out of 10, looking forward to it.
Hey, I mean, our first time filming this, our camera ran out of battery. On our first time recording, I used the podcast setting on Adobe Audition, and you would think that would be fine to use a podcast setting for a podcast, and it had the worst echo ever in our first episode. It was terrible. So. No, first times are fine, man. You guys did really well for that, and no.
Wait, hang on, Matty. Did better? How did we go? How were we as a pair? Do you reckon we could do your job better than you?
Oh, start your own podcast then, and we'll have a competition. Podcast off. I think your guys will just be like how to get drunk podcast though. So, and I think you guys could be the plug podcast.
We'll do that. I reckon we can do that.
A tally counter on the side there.
How many times you guys plug a business or something?
It has been
how many times you say Driftwest?
No, seriously, guys, it has been fantastic talking to you. I hope we can talk to you in the future, and we seriously hope to keep you guys posted on more stuff happening here in WA.
You guys are doing an amazing job. Keep it up.
Awesome, dudes.
Thanks, guys.
And we'll definitely be chatting with you soon, and maybe we'll end up getting over to WA too. So
awesome.
Yeah!
Awesome, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, boys.
Let's turn them off.
He's still on!
You're gone.
Nah, that was good fun.
Awesome. Awesome. That was good
insight. I liked it.
Yeah, get a bit of
WA drifting.
Bit of WA drifting and a bit of comedy for this one. So yeah. Definitely thanks to them. They definitely talked that down. That 100%. Live stream. Maybe the live stream could have been a little bit better, but as far as the actual event goes, they did a really good job with the. 100%. There was no downtime apart from if the very few times that they needed a recovery vehicle. So props to them. Definitely check out their Facebook page and Instagram page, and follow Matt Lynch. I think it's Matty Lynch.
Lyncho Drift on
Lyncho Drift, that's it.
Yep. Check that out.
Yeah, and Jmac as well, Jmac Media. So yeah, we'll
definitely keep you posted on them. Stuff that's happening from WA that they send through. So it'll be heaps good. Awesome. Any news before we get out of here? It's been a bit of a long episode, this one. Yeah, it's been a huge episode. No real news, hey? It's been a pretty quiet week. Well, we had D1 go down. Yeah. Do we know what happened with that? You didn't look it up. I did see a few results. I just can't remember off the top of my head. That's okay. But yeah, no, it was pretty good. I saw some highlights on Noriaro, so
Yeah, okay.
was
I
good.
was meaning to watch some of the live stream, but I didn't get to. Any other things happen or anything coming up? I know that D1 will be going to Ebisu next month, so that'll be good. We've also got FD Japan starts. Oh, geez. By the time we upload this episode, it will. Oh, it might already be done, or it'll be on to. It's on the Saturday, the 20. What's the date today? So it'll be on Saturday the 28th because it's midnight now. So
it'll be happening.
Yeah, it's happening today. So definitely check it out though if it's still on, and if not, you can always watch it on YouTube. The D1 YouTube is actually really good to watch live streams back through. They upload everything. So sorry, not D1, FD. I think FD Japan is still got a decent YouTube. So and you'll be able to watch it on Facebook as well.
Always upload the highlights as well, so you can check out the top 8 battles. I think it is. So yeah. Let's have a quick look at the rankings of D1 GP, which was the Scuba event. Scuba Drift. Yeah.
So
your mate drove that, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yes. Well, he's actually sitting at number 22, which is what he was last year, Kenji Kiguchi, and that's in his brand new JZX100. So
nice.
But obviously he's only done the one event in that car.
Yeah.
So I can't see. It's not really actually showing me. They might not have uploaded it yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there anything else coming up that we know of? Is there any party drifting coming up around the corner? I know that the Matt Suri tickets have gone on sale for Queensland Raceway.
Matt Suri tickets have been on sale, and I'm pretty sure they're sold out now. So waiting on the drivers list. Hopefully, some cool drivers are coming. Yeah, have they announced who the special drivers? No special guest announcement yet. So guess they're keeping that till last minute.
Hopefully they can sort that out. With a decent driver.
Hopefully, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, I can't see who won that. I'll put it up on Instagram who won the D1 GP. It can be a bit hard to navigate their website, especially on a phone. But FD Japan, though, definitely check that out. Saturday 28th, which will probably be today. I'll try and upload this. It'll probably be over. You'll have to watch it. You'll have to watch it.
Work tomorrow. I got work tomorrow.
Yeah, so not going to happen, and it's midnight already. But check out FD Japan. Check out the from Ebisu in next month, as well as you can rewatch the Scuba Drift as well, and check out and support Kenji Kiguchi as well. He's an awesome dude, and doing the hard yards in D1. It's not an easy task. So
no, definitely not. So
other than that, that's about it. Let's wrap it up. This has been a bit of a long one, so
hopefully not too much rambling.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let us know if you did. Let us know if you didn't. And it'll be Facebook, YouTube. If you want to listen to the audio only, that's just on all of the podcasting things except for Spotify. I'm still waiting for an approval back on that, but hopefully that happens pretty soon. So you can just check it out on the Google
Podcast.
Yeah, Google Podcasts, as well as the Apple Podcasts and stuff, Stitcher, all that kind of stuff. So, check it out and give us a follow on Facebook and Instagram and let us know what you want us to talk about.
Yeah, cool.
All right, catch you guys.